I'm a big supporter of the metaverse. I love NFTs, crypto. I'm all in. But I have to say that I didn't get there by not doing some initial research about some of the downsides. What's the worst case scenario for the metaverse? And what I wanted to do is share with you today some of my experience researching what are the downsides, what are the negatives of the metaverse. That way, you're going to make an informed decision about when you decide, listen, the metaverse is for me or it's not for me. Hi, I'm Ian. I'm a lawyer for creators. I help creators with sponsorship deals, copyright issues, and anything from the metaverse. Let's get to the worst case scenario for the metaverse. The first point about the worst case scenario for the metaverse is that the tech is a long way off. I spent some time doing research about VR goggles and AR goggles, and most of them aren't attractive. I picked out this picture, which is way back, I think from 2016. And obviously it's a grotesque example of virtual reality goggles. But the point of this is that a risk to the metaverse could be that the technology just isn't there yet, and it won't be for the near future. And if that's the case, then one of the promises for the metaverse, which is being able to experience and be immersed in virtual worlds, to use cryptocurrency, to buy things and to own NFTs, all that stuff could not come to fruition. And then we have a problem. A lot of investments will go sour. A second risk to the metaverse is this right click and save concept. I get so many comments about my NFT videos and people say, Ian, just right click and save. You don't need to worry about proof of ownership and all these things. And I say, you know what? You're missing the point. It's not about you being able to manipulate the graphic image like you can right now. If you go to Google, you can right click and save on a lot of images. It's about the proof of ownership and the ability for people later on in time to enforce their right of ownership and eventually their copyrights. All right, third threat to the metaverse is an economic downturn. And believe me, you've got to consider this before you start investing in NFTs and virtual land and all those things. NFTs are probably the most discretionary purchase in the world. You don't need them. They're for surplus cash. They're a hobby. They're a collectible. So there could be an economic downturn. And I have to tell you, if that takes place, then it's very probably clear that NFTs will go down in value. Crypto will go down in value, maybe, unless it's considered a store of value. And you could have some losses on your portfolio. But I want to make sure you understand that this threat exists everywhere right now in our real life. It's not just this metaverse where there's a risk of an economic downturn. You could invest all your money in Tesla or Ford for that matter. And if there's an economic downturn, you could lose that money. The fourth point showing that the metaverse could fail, and that is that the technology is clunky, it's quirky, it really is not that great right now. I put out a video this week all about, like soup to nuts, putting crypto in a wallet and then protecting it in the wallet and then also protecting it on cold storage. And I have to tell you that video is 20 minutes or so, and it's a long video. I did my best to cut it down, but it took many, many hours to actually get that much footage and try to cut it down that much. It takes a long time. It's very clunky for you to, give your USD to, let's say, Coinbase, and then convert it into a cryptocurrency, and then transfer that to a wallet, transfer that to cold storage, and then to use that for buying NFTs, and then somehow to get those into your wallet, you have to have a certain app. It is clunky. It absolutely is. But I got to tell you that over time, in the next 2 to 3 years, it's not going to be that way. The promise is that we move to the proof of stake for Ethereum and a number of the other cryptocurrencies. There won't be environmental damage, and it'll be much smoother process. Another criticism of the metaverse, people saying this is the worst case scenario, is that it is going to lead to a dystopia. The problem is that the metaverse is here to stay. All the scholars uniformly agree that we're just not going to just decide not to do the metaverse. It's happening right now, and it's going to continue to happen. So what does that mean? That means we're going to have to get along with it. And we're going to have to change and be more balanced. If there's a threat that we're just going to live in 1-bedroom apartments, not take care of ourselves, not buy the right food, not enjoy nature like we should as humans, then we're going to actually have to take responsibility for us and balance our interests. We can't just live in this world somewhere. There's going to be some responsibility on us humans to not get so wrapped up in this world that we let other things in our world and our real worlds fall apart. A sixth threat to the metaverse is that it is too expensive. Yeah, there's no doubt about it that right now it is hard to afford some of the cool things that are out there, whether or not it's the Bored Ape Yacht Club here with 10,000 Ethereum price tag, or whether it's virtual land right now. A 1x1 plot on the Sandbox is like bottom floor price $12,000. Most of us, including myself, don't have this much money. But I will say that if you are able to be open and to try to find the areas where you can participate for free in the metaverse, you will be better served. Seventh problem with the metaverse, government regulation. Yeah, there's no doubt that I'm sure you've heard from people and also reading the headlines that the government is seeking ways to regulate cryptocurrency. Now, a lot of us say that's a good deal because hopefully that will reduce hacking and increase the value of cryptocurrency because it conforms to the law. However, a lot of you don't like it because, of course, that means that cryptocurrency is going to be taxed. Now, NFTs could fall under the definition of the SEC as a security. It's possible they could be construed that way, at least some projects. But most scholars, people who are really movers and shakers in the NFT area, say that's not the case. So it's very likely that even though there's a threat of government regulation over NFTs and a lot of the items in the metaverse, it's not as likely as, say, crypto. Number 8 on our list of things that could go wrong with the metaverse is that hacks happen every day. You know, there's no way to get around this. We see the headlines every single day. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's the top of the news or the bottom of the news, there's another hack that's happened and it's involved cryptocurrency or potentially NFTs. I will say this, and please put it in the comments if you think I'm wrong. When I've read all these accounts, it usually doesn't have to do with the fact that there's been some code break-in, some sort of virus or something that's infected the blockchain. Usually what ends up happening is that whoever is the owner of the wallet that was broken into somehow disclosed the key seed phrase, the recovery phrase, something like that. And that is how the hackers were able to get into the wallet and take the crypto and take the NFTs. So as my wife would say, just don't do that. Make sure that you're safe. Make sure that you have not only a software wallet, but also cold storage backing up that software wallet. If you want more on that, I put out a video just this last week on how to do that. But the bottom line is you can keep these things safe. Number 9 on our list of things that could go wrong with the metaverse is that there is no cap on land, and that equals no value. And what I mean by this is that we'll take the Sandbox as an example. A lot of people that say there's no limit on the amount of land that's sellable, and that's not correct. According to the Sandbox, it's like 16,400 parcels. But then they say, okay, that's what they're saying now, but at some point there's going to be expanded land out there in the various virtual land platforms. Listen, I don't know what's going to happen. That could very well be. They're telling us now that they're a limited supply, but that's not really important. Think about it in our real world. There's a lot of land out there, right? And most of the demand for land does not have to do with the fact that there's going to be an end to the land that's out there. It has to do with proximity. And so people want to live close to the beach. They want to live close in the city. They want to be close to restaurants. They want to be close to certain attractions. They want to be in the mountains, but they want to be close to something. And so that's the same thing that happens in the virtual land reality. And that is that people want to be close to something. You're seeing it every day. The big celebrities, the big brands are buying estates in the virtual land platforms. And a lot of people are paying top dollar to be around those estates because they know that when people materialize in these worlds and they go visit, let's say, Snoop Dogg's world in the Sandbox, that they're going to have fun and then they're going to look around and they're going to see your land. And if you had something attractive there, like a sign, like an amusement park yourself, like a store, whatever it is, they're going to come to your land. So while I can never guarantee that there's going to be a cap on parcels for virtual land, I will say this, that doesn't matter because really proximity is all that matters. All right, number 10, we're almost there. Number 10 is smart contract legal fails. So as you probably know, having kind of dabbled in NFTs, you understand that there's this concept of smart contracts that is attendant to many different NFTs. A good example is that let's say you mint an NFT and you want to sell it. What you can do is you can build into that NFT in a smart contract. Let's just say it's an OpenSea, that you will get a 10% commission every single time that NFT that you created is sold to different people. It's great. It automatically is transferred in that sale to your wallet forever. So smart contracts are great. But there is the risk, of course, that smart contracts will fail. and won't be legally enforceable. What I mean by that is that there's a lot of people out there issuing NFTs and making promises. In other words, they're an organization that you buy this NFT and it allows you to get certain features. Well, what happens if that company goes out of business? Well, then you're out of luck. But that is the same type of risk you would face if you were participating in the same type of business, but not NFTs. So while it is a definite risk in the metaverse, smart contracts could fail. Normal contracts could fail in the real world. So it's really not a metaverse criticism. Number 11 on what could go wrong in the metaverse, the hype could slow down. In this case, I showed a picture of a dog because it's so cute and he looks bored. And that could very well be what happens in the NFT space. Right now, the hype is huge. It started back in, I want to say in February of 2021, kind of extended through May, and then it's really in October started to blow up with the announcement by Facebook that their holding company is going to call Meta, and they're going to invest $10 billion to create a metaverse of their own. So it's blown up, and this hype cycle could slow. And let's say you buy in now, you pay a lot of money for an NFT or a piece of virtual land, and then the hype cycle slows, and then your land is not worth as much, your NFT is not worth as much. That is definitely a risk, and I got to tell you, I can't defend it. That could very well happen. We are in a hype cycle now. Number 12 is that the blockchain that your NFT, your digital asset is on is devalued. Listen, there's definitely a risk over time that the blockchain that let's say your NFT is on goes down in value. And what I mean by that is the blockchain could definitely be hacked into, or the underlying token or the cryptocurrency that the blockchain supports goes down in value for a variety of reasons. So it's true that if you were able to buy a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT, which sits on the Ethereum network, and the Ethereum goes down, so the value of your NFT goes down too. But again, it's not something that's not present in our real world. Number 13 thing that could go wrong in the metaverse and spell doom, and that is that the metaverse is centralized. It becomes centralized. I think a lot of us were listening to the announcement of Mark Zuckerberg in October about Facebook, the holding company being changed, the name being changed to Meta. And a lot of us saw underneath the hype, and that was that what Facebook is trying to do is make a play for their foothold in the metaverse. They want to have their strongholds in that metaverse so people stay in there and are locked in there. So those are my 13 things that could go wrong with the metaverse. Consider them carefully, but understand that there are countervailing points, which I talked about today, and make your decision. I will say this. I encourage you to be open about the metaverse. Do as much reading as possible. There's lots of free resources. If you go on Amazon right now, there's dozens of books that are free that talk about the metaverse, NFTs, crypto, AR, VR. You can download them. You can read them. Get open to it, because you could do what I'm trying to do, which is stake my claim out there so that when time goes and more people frequent the metaverse, the demand for our time and for our money goes up and we're successful. And that's what I want you to be. If you're like me and really enjoy the metaverse, make sure you join my email list by clicking the link below. I give you updates about big news in the metaverse, also available virtual land for cheap prices. I'm going to be sending those emails out to you all so that you can benefit from my research. Also, if you want more information about virtual land, about how to put crypto into your MetaMask wallet and save it on your Ledger Nano X, watch my videos that will appear on the next screen.